Economic growth is a term we hear often, usually in the context of headlines about GDP, stock markets, or government policies. But what does it actually mean, and why does it matter to all of us? In this video, we're going to break down how economic growth works, how it impacts individuals and communities, and why it's one of the most important factors shaping our daily lives. Whether you're aware of it or not, the economy's growth, or lack of it, plays a huge role in everything from the jobs we hold to the prices we pay for goods and services. Let's start with what we mean by economic growth. At its simplest, economic growth refers to an increase in the value of goods and services produced by a country over time. The most common way to measure this is through gross domestic product, GDP, which represents the total value of everything produced within a country's borders. When GDP is rising, it generally means the economy is doing well. Businesses are growing, jobs are being created, and people are spending money. But economic growth is more than just a number. It's a process that affects almost every aspect of society. So how does economic growth benefit us, and why should we care? First and foremost, growth tends to lead to higher incomes. As businesses expand, they need more workers, which increases demand for labor. This higher demand often results in rising wages and better job opportunities. When people have more money to spend, they can improve their standard of living, buying better food, housing, healthcare, and education. Over time, these improvements can lead to higher life satisfaction, better health outcomes, and greater social mobility. In other words, when the economy grows, people generally have more opportunities to improve their quality of life. But it's not just about wages and jobs. Economic growth also impacts public services. When the economy is growing, governments collect more tax revenue without having to raise taxes. This is because businesses are earning more profits, workers are earning higher incomes, and consumers are spending more. With higher tax revenues, governments can invest more in public services like education, healthcare, infrastructure, and social programs. These improvements benefit everyone, not just the wealthy, and can contribute to a more equitable society. A well-functioning public sector, supported by a strong economy, is essential for addressing the needs of vulnerable populations and ensuring that growth benefits all citizens. Another area where economic growth touches our lives is through innovation and technology. When economies are growing, businesses have the resources and motivation to invest in research and development. This leads to new technologies, products, and services that can improve our daily lives. Think about the smartphone you use every day, or the medical advancements that have extended life expectancy. Many of these innovations were made possible by economic growth, which provided the resources and incentives for companies and governments to invest in research and development. As the economy grows, technological progress often accelerates, creating new industries and opportunities that didn't exist before. However, it's important to note that economic growth doesn't always affect everyone equally. While growth generally leads to higher incomes and more job opportunities, the benefits can be unevenly distributed. For example, in many countries, the richest segments of society have seen their incomes rise much faster than those of the middle and lower classes. This growing inequality can lead to social tensions, political instability, and reduced social mobility, particularly if people feel they're being left behind while others reap the rewards of growth. The challenge for policymakers is to ensure that economic growth is inclusive, meaning that its benefits are shared more equally across society. Environmental impact is another important consideration when we talk about economic growth. Historically, economic expansion has often come at the expense of the environment, with industrialization leading to pollution, deforestation, and climate change. As economies grow, they consume more natural resources, which can lead to environmental degradation if not managed carefully. However, recent advances in technology and policy have shown that it's possible to achieve sustainable growth that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Green technologies, renewable energy, and sustainable farming practices are just a few examples of how economic growth can be balanced with environmental protection. For growth to be truly beneficial in the long run, it needs to be sustainable and mindful of its ecological impact. Moreover, economic growth is crucial for reducing poverty. In developing countries, growth has lifted millions of people out of extreme poverty, providing them with better access to food, clean water, education, and healthcare. Countries that have experienced sustained economic growth, such as China and India, have seen dramatic improvements in living standards over the past few decades. While growth alone is not enough to eliminate poverty, effective policies, fair distribution, and good governance are also essential. It's a vital tool in creating opportunities for people to escape poverty and improve their lives. On the flip side, when economic growth slows down or turns negative, the effects can be deeply felt. Recessions or economic downturns often result in job losses, lower wages, and cuts to public services. Businesses may struggle to survive, and consumers may tighten their belts, leading to reduced spending and further economic contraction. Economic crises like the global financial crisis of 2008 show how vulnerable economies can be to sudden shocks. When growth stalls, governments may have fewer resources to respond to rising unemployment and social needs, and ordinary people may find it harder to make ends meet. Finally, economic growth also plays a role in geopolitics. Countries with strong, growing economies tend to wield more influence on the global stage. A nation's economic power often correlates with its military strength, diplomatic clout, and ability to project soft power, like cultural influence and international partnerships. Countries that experience sustained economic growth, like China in recent decades, can reshape global economic and political systems, while nations suffering from stagnation or decline often lose influence and face internal challenges. As a result, economic growth isn't just about individual prosperity, it's also about a country's standing in the world. In conclusion, economic growth affects us all in profound ways, from our personal incomes and job opportunities to the quality of public services and the health of the environment. While growth has the potential to improve living standards and reduce poverty, it also comes with challenges such as inequality and environmental sustainability. The key is to manage growth wisely, ensuring that it benefits as many people as possible while protecting the planet for future generations. Whether we realize it or not, the health of the economy is intertwined with nearly every aspect of our lives, shaping the world we live in today and the one we'll leave behind tomorrow.